Good morning and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. This week, I want to take you to camp. What I mean by that is that every summer, except during the midst of a pandemic, we take our confirmation students off to the mountains with kids from other churches, and we all enjoy a week of camp. They get to swim, go on outings, do skits, campfires, s'mores, and more. It's a lot of fun, but there's also inspiration and learning through Vespers, and especially the time we spend each morning in class as the pastors and leaders teach. While we might cover many topics in a particular year, often we focus on the 5 confirmation promises. In case you don't remember, you become a member of the church, a member of the family of God in your baptism. In our church, most people are baptized as babies, and then when you are a young teen, you have a time of instruction in the faith, and then you are confirmed. In fact, we don't really call it confirmation anymore. Now we call it affirmation of baptism. You see, for most, when they were baptized as an infant, their parents made promises on their behalf. When it's time for confirmation, then the young person says, "Those promises that were made on my behalf, I now take responsibility for myself." And that's when they become adult members of the church. At camp, we spend a day on each promise, but you'll be glad to know this message isn't going to last that long. However, I do hope to share some of the things we might normally do as we review the promises we made too. The first promise we take responsibility for in confirmation is to live among God's faithful people. As a member of God's family, it's important to be with God's family. If you're spending most of your time with people who don't seek to live the way God would have us live, it's all too easy to fall away. But surrounding ourselves with godly people helps us be more godly, and we enjoy the support of others around us. As adults, we probably know all about Alcoholics Anonymous, and it's a great example of what I'm talking about. As they struggle with their alcoholism, they come together regularly with others who struggle in the same way. They face their problems together, support one another, and share wisdom and experience with countless pitfalls and how to avoid them. The same thing happens with the Christian life. As we struggle with sin and self-aggrandizement and the world, we need one another for support and strength and comfort and care. And it takes all of us. One of the ways we teach this to the kids is that we play a game with them. First, we put them in groups and tell them we need one person for the role of right hand, one for left hand, one for a right foot, one for a left foot, one for a mouth, and one for a rear end. Then, about 20 feet away, we put a chair with a balloon. When the game starts, the 2 feet have to carry one of the hands to the chair where they pick up the balloon and carry it back. Then the hands have to hold the balloon up to mouth, who blows it up, and then the hands have to tie the balloon. Now let me pause right there to ask you to imagine tying a balloon with another person, with one of you able to use only your right hand and the other using only their left. It's not an easy task. Once the balloon is tied, the feet have to carry the hand who carries the balloon back to the chair. Then the feet have to go get the rear end and carry that person to the chair so they can sit on the balloon and pop it. And what's the point? Well, every one of those parts had a significant role to play in accomplishing the task. And just like that, every member of the body of Christ is important. And together we share our calling and our mission Together we share our hopes, our joys, our sorrows, and our fears. We promise to live among God's faithful people. We are called not just into a community, we are called into a family, the family of God. Thanks for watching, and remember to let this day belong to God.